Students, faculty, family members, unhonored guests, and not to mention those curious people that found this video on YouTube somewhere in the future, thank you. Thank you for watching. Hello. Let me begin by saying that this is not how I imagined this ceremony to take place. This is not how it should be. And let me tell you the truth, it feels a little awkward to be addressing you all like this. It's hard to try and speak to you, and it's hard not to see all your smiling faces. But wherever you are, I hope you are all well, and I hope we can take a moment and share with you some positive thoughts I have about the past year, and to share a little advice about the years to come. For those of you not familiar with me, my name is COlson. I teach 7th grade social studies at Winnisquam Regional Middle School, and I've been asked to speak to the 8th grade class for this graduation video. Now, some of the people watching may not recognize me, as I am relatively new to Winnisquam. In fact, last year was my first year full-time, anywhere. And these 8th graders were my first full-time class. And I'd like to say that they took it easy on me. Well, I'd like to say that, but that's not the truth. These kids, they pushed me. They tested my limits. I can't recall a time that I've worked harder or been challenged more in anything I have ever done. But I wouldn't change a single moment. I actually want to thank them. You see, they made me a better teacher, and they taught me more in our short time together than I could have learned in 5 years teaching anywhere else. And for that, and I will always be and am forever thankful. So thank you guys. Yeah, that's the intro, now the speech. So now looking back on 3 months ago, I can remember that many students they're praying for just one more snow day. And if you told me that these same students a couple of months later would be wishing they could return to school, even for just a day, I wouldn't believe you. I'm confident that back then none of us would have ever guessed how attitude towards school have changed. And that goes to prove that people really don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. And it's times like this, when we lose something, especially something that we've taken for granted, that we start to remember the importance of what we have versus what we don't. Human beings were kind of funny that way. We rarely appreciate the things that we have, and most of us are too busy thinking about the things that we don't have. So I thought it might be useful at a time like this, when we are all thinking about everything we're missing, to point out some things that we might, things that we miss that are not so easy to spot. So I want to share with you some observations that I have that have become much clearer since our adventure with remote learning began. Okay, we can start with the first obvious thing we're missing. We're missing a traditional graduation ceremony. But what is graduation really? It's an occasion to celebrate the transition from one grade to another. It's a rite of passage, a recognition that you are leveling up in life. But what's more important, is it the celebration, or is the thing that we are actually celebrating? Because what we're celebrating really is 8 years of work put in by these students. 8 years of getting up when they'd rather stay in bed. Of course, now in remote learning, they often don't have to get out of bed, but that's the first block anyway. We're celebrating the 3 years of middle school. 3 years in those narrow hallways with the lockers that are just too small enough so you can lose stuff, but they're not large enough to fit a backpack. 3 years of homework with untold hours of studying, dozens of tests and papers, 3 years of loud cafeteria lunches, of early morning announcements, and of pledging the allegiance to the flag. Think about this. In middle school alone, they have given the Pledge of Allegiance over 500 times. Needless to say, they put in a lot of work, and that's what today is about. So let's take a second and reflect and recognize the sacrifice of our students. If you're with an 8th grader right now, be sure to pat them on the back and let them know how proud you are of them. This will also refocus them, as many of them have very, very short attention spans. Another thing we have missed is being in school for the past couple months. I'm sure that we have not been able to cover as much as we could have if we were still in school, but that this shouldn't take away from everything that we've done before and everything that we've studied during remote learning. I mean, over the last 8 years, students have laid down a foundation, a strong framework for building a bigger, better, brighter future. Now, not many of them will believe me, but they're going to eventually use everything they've learned up to now. It's just not going to be in the way that you think. School and everything associated with it is an exercise program just for your brain. Just like your muscles need to get worked out to get stronger, your brain needs to work out for you to think more efficiently. You may not use about algebra per se, but learning algebra helps your brain solve problems. And you would definitely be solving problems in high school and beyond. Science, very similar. In science, you learn skills of research and analysis, learning how things really are. You learn to break complex ideas down in order to make sense of it. That sounds pretty important to me. I don't know. ELA has taught you how to write, and writing is just an exercise in organized thinking. Told you this a lot. Writing also teaches communication skills, important skills that you're going to be using every day for the rest of your life. whether you're commuting in person or remotely. And what's last but not least, social studies. Social studies combines all of those things. Problem solving, research, analysis, writing, it does using information about the world around you. And again, that is why social studies is always the most important subject. All right, so now what? Now what? For months we've been talking about the idea that it's going to be a new normal, that people will eventually forget the new part, and the new will just fall off and it will just become plain normal again. When you look closer, you have to realize it's about what we choose to see and what we choose not to see. So if we choose to look for the positives, usually we need to look past all the negative in front of us. And if you weren't a little uncertain about what the future is, I'd be a little nervous for you. You've been working for all these years, but you're not sure for why or what. You think you should know and expect what you're going to have in high school, but how to work it out? Well, I'm going to let you in a secret. Nobody knows. Your classmates definitely don't know any idea of what the future is going to be. And that's okay. That's all right. Because it's the unknown that gives you the unlimited possibilities. If your future was known, if you knew what was going to happen, you'd have those options. There would be no surprises. So you should learn to embrace the unknown. It really is freedom under a different name. So now one thing I can tell you about high school, it will offer you a new starting point, a chance to reinvent yourself. High school is a game changer, and whatever version of reality, the new normal or the old that we find ourselves in, it's filled with new possibilities. And the future today has more unknowns than ever, so therefore you will have more possibilities now than ever before. So congratulations. Remember, you still have plenty of time to figure out what you want to be, what you want to do, where you want to go. You will have time to fail. You will have time to mess up. You will have time to try again. And when you mess that up, you still have time. Just as long as you're willing to work hard, your future is destined to be bright. And in the end, when you finally reach your senior year, you will have created something special. You have created your own education. You have paved the path, and that path will open up the next phase of your life's journey. So remember that your education is yours. It's not mine. It's not your teachers. It's not your parents. It belongs to you. You've worked for it. You've earned it, and you are going to benefit from it. So welcome to the end of the speech, and your first 8 years of hard work. Only 4 more years till your next graduation. But for now, it's time for you to take a well-deserved respite, to take a break. While you're at it, go easy on your parents. They don't know what to do with themselves now that you're home all the time. We old people don't deal with change as well as you do. So be patient with us, and if you listen, I'm sure we will listen too. So stay positive, embrace the unknown, and be proud of who you are. And your next journey starts in a few months, and from now, I wish you all the best. I will miss you all. Don't be a stranger. Come back and visit if you like. But for now, it's goodbye and good luck. All right? Take care.